Well, very good morning to participants at various centers. So after, as we were discussing day before yesterday, there are various methods for conducting research. Um, Descriptive method of research, Dr. Tulsi has just discussed with you, and now we move to the other method, that is the correlation method of research. So as the name implies, it's just this type of research involves collecting data in order to determine the degree of relationship, how the two variables are related with each other. Though I am mentioning about 1990, but it still goes with the definition. Now maybe you take any basic research, or you take maybe applied research. You will see even in engineering sciences and in social sciences also, you will find you have to determine relationship between two variables. On that day, I was mentioning about current and voltage. I took very simple example on that day. You may take Charles law, you may take Ohm's law. You will find that the relationships are basically there. So whenever we go, and if I come to the social sciences or say educational research, technical education research, say if I want to find what are the things which are relating to the academic achievement of the students in the institution. So you will find there are a number of variables which are related with the academic achievement of the students. Let me just have your views on it. What are the factors you feel, what are the other variables in your view which are related to the academic achievement of the students? So for that, I invite Indraprasth Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Indraprasth Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Yes, over to Ghaziabad. Anji, will you tell me some of the variables which you feel are related with the academic achievement of students? Nahi connected hai. Okay, we take a case of MIET Jammu. I think there is long tea break here. Okay, anyway, out of you three, will you tell about any variable which is related to academic achievement? Mic nahi chalna. Anji, madam, madam, can we have your attention? If you have don't means anything urgent to discuss, we had posed one question. I will like to listen from you. Mike, सुन रहे हैं? Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? इनका कोई coordinate करने वाला नहीं. Okay, let me come to the studio itself. Let me request Dr. Keshav. What are the variables? Academic achievement. What are the variables which you feel will be related with the academic achievement of the students, maybe in the engineering college? Academic achievement itself is some marks in their in their subject, right? Now, what are the variables which are related to their having high marks or their having low marks? Interest, very good. So interest, aptitude, very good. Let me hear from Isha also. Students, very good. Student participation, student interaction with the students also can be there. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. So very good, very right, madam. मेरे को आपका नाम भूल गया है, sorry. Dr. Prabhjot. So we have number of variables which may relate to that. So it's not that in the sciences, say when we are talking about the Charles law, Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's law, that these relationships are used, but in any means. I will show a number of other studies also in the engineering areas where we will be using correlation only. So what is the purpose of, after all, going for such type of studies? First is that these determine relationships between two or more variables. Now, when I said academic achievement. And I came up with the reply from our own studio that they told me number of variables: interest, aptitude, their in maybe in how they are related with their participation in cultural activities, interaction with the teachers, interaction with the teacher and among students also. So point is, number of variables were narrated, were listed by the participants. So these studies help us to find the relationship. Then there might be certain relationships which may need further investigations. If I say cultural activities, right? How far they are affecting the academic achievement? In one go, I may find there is a relationship, but I may need further investigation how this is disrupting or adding to the academic achievement of the students. So we need such type of study for this reason also. And we use relationships in making predictions also. Point, that is, identify predictor variables of importance. Say, if I want to know that how the academic achievement of student is related with the other earlier variables. Say, if we generally go for entrance examination for getting admission to engineering colleges, and for that matter, I will say even for the most of the professional degrees, we are having some type of entrance test, maybe for doctors, maybe for engineers. I just raised one question that we are taking entrance tests for engineering, getting admission to the engineering colleges. And the points which have emerged from our own studio, the participants here are of the view that you have the limited seats and you have to make decisions which students to get admitted. There may be the certain bogus type of certificates that issued at any point in some maybe states or by some institutions. So we have to screen further. And for architecture, aptitude test is also added, which not only talk about the academic achievement of the person, but it also take care of the aptitude for that field also. If you want to add anything in this, you are most welcome. I was just requesting earlier to MIET Jammu.
Morning, ma'am. Will you repeat this question again?
Yes, you see that for admission to engineering colleges, we are having entrance tests, right?
Okay.
I
Yes.
say, why there is need for entrance test? Why can't we have admission just on the basis of the marks obtained at the +2 stage? And if it is polytechnic, maybe the marks at the 10th level, matriculation level.
I think so that only capable students who can do engineering can come to our colleges.
You want to say that capability is not means reflected in their academic performance in their metric +2 marks?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to add something else also? Why more entrance tests? Why not only the academic performance at +2 stage?
Ma'am, entrance test can analyze the overall knowledge of the student and
Okay, thank you for making effort. Let me hear from RV College of Engineering, Bangalore. Earlier there was some audio problem, but now I suppose you are hearing me. I will also like to hear from you the reason for getting into the entrance test examinations for admission to engineering colleges.
There is one more point.
Yes.
Like जैसे IIT के examination आप देखो, so it is more application based technique. अगर आप देखो, so it's not remembering based कि आपने formula याद कर लिया. How you are going to apply in the real situation. The questions are designed like that.
Designed like that, yes. So you want that more of application. If more of application is there, only those students should be. Yes. Any point which RV College of Engineering will like to make here? Any opinion from you about the reason for going into the entrance examinations for admission to professional colleges, maybe medical, maybe engineering college? No. Yes. I think somebody is coming up now.
Madam, are you able to hear me?
Yes, 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 very clearly.
It is a criteria for screening the applications. One of the criteria is to screen the applications because there will be many applicants. So that is one basis. Another thing is a student who wants to pursue undergraduate studies should have a minimum qualification and quality. So this entrance or screening test can be used to assess the quality of the student as well.
But we have the +2 examinations, +2 marks, merit is with us.
Correct. The way we assess through the +2 examinations is different from this aptitude test. That's what I feel.
Now,
Just a minute.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now you see, whenever there are some entrance examinations, the expectation is that they are predicting something for their success in the next letter. As pointed by Mr. Gaurav also, that if we look into the IIT entrance examinations, they go more for the application, which might not have been tested at the +2 level, or might not have been given that type of weightage at that level. Maybe maybe the reason for comparison from state to state, because there are a number of agencies involved in taking +2 examinations, as there are state boards are also there, CBSE is also there. So for some common format, but in any case, the choice of things for any entrance test will include how those things are related with the performance in the engineering college. That we have to see. Engineering college, for that matter, I would say any related type of professional institution, say maybe management area, maybe medical area, but we relate those things. I won't be concentrating on mathematics achievement for entry into the medical college. Of course, the criteria will be then different for those type of subjects. So we find these type of relationships for making predictions, that a person who is good in application, who is good in physics, should perform better in the engineering college. So that's how they are making the predictions. For that matter, I would say, if you go into any, say when you are make weather forecast, again there are certain predictor variables. On the basis of analysis of those only, you make the predictions. So these type of studies help you in making predictions. We will take more examples related to this later on. Now, maybe prediction, maybe relationship. In both types, you will see we will be using this correlation extensively. Let me again hear from you what we mean by correlation. What we mean by correlation. Let me hear from the from the studio itself. Right. So if we have scores on one variable, we have scores on the other variable, and we relate the two, we find the correlation. So correlation is relationship between two variables. Now, so for that matter, what we do, data is represented on two variables, x and y, where one of the variable we may call as the independent, and the other we take as the dependent, and find the relationship between the two. Now, the examples of this are, I may find relationship between height and shoe size. Relationship can be between the, I can find correlation between these two variables. SAT means Scholastic Aptitude Test. Number of the faculty at different centers and from the studio also mentioned about the aptitude. We go for entrance test to see the aptitude in that field. So we want to have the relationship with the grades also, with the achievement also. So we can have relate these variables. Then I go to the some medical type of areas. Number of cigarettes smoked per day and the lung capacity. You may go for that type of relationships also. So examples for certain examples from engineering and non-engineering areas are, I have written where these are published also, and when. Say the relationship between anxiety and academic performance among engineering students, correlation between engineering students' performance in mathematics and academic success, because you will see that for all engineering colleges you are having mathematics, physics, these type of subjects right in the first 2 semesters. Now why the student should study mathematics if there is no relationship with his academic performance in the engineering subjects? The last I am mentioning is the correlation between aggregate shape and compressive strength of concrete through digital image processing approach. Here also you will be finding the relationship between these variables only. Now, when we relate the two, we come up with the correlation coefficient. So mathematical estimate of this relationship is called nothing but the correlation coefficient, and this indicates how two variables are related. Now again I come to you, what can be the minimum and maximum value of this relationship? Yes, let me hear from ABS Engineering College Ghaziabad. My question is, what can be the minimum and maximum value of this correlation coefficient? Yes, ABS Engineering College Ghaziabad. Yes, please. Have you heard my question? You are able to hear me? ABS Engineering College Ghaziabad. You have heard the question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I have a question, but
Just tell me.
the minimum and maximum limits we don't know.
Please keep your mic at the little bit means away from your mouth, because your voice is not audible.
Hello.
Yes. Please.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, now you are audible. Now
Am I
you are
audible?
you are now audible, but you have to keep your mic little bit away from your mouth. Yes, please. Carry on.
Clear idea about this correlation
Yes.
coefficient. I'm not having any clear idea about this correlation coefficient, but its extent is between maybe between -1 and 3.
-1.
-1 and 1.
Okay, good. If I understand, you said that you don't know much, but it should be -1 +1. Right? So very well said. Actually, if we go to the absolute value, it will vary from 0 to 1.0, and the range is -1.0 to +1.0. Now the sign of the this relationship tells us the direction of relationship. If it is towards minus, it will be inverse relationship. If it is towards plus, as the one variable increases, the other variable also increases. So type of relationship is determined by sign, and the strength of relationship is determined by the absolute value. If I say it is -8.0, it means they are going, there is high relationship, but in the inverse direction. As one variable increases, the other variable decreases sharply. So let me show you certain cases. There are scatter plots for this. You see the dots are going towards the right direction, and that means there is positive relationship, and they are quite close, showing that there is a strong relationship. Let me have temperature in Celsius degree and temperature in Fahrenheit. So naturally, when I am converting the values for that, there is a perfect positive correlation between the two. Yeah, and now you see scholastic aptitude test scores and the grades in the engineering college. Here again, you see there will be there is high positive correlation as X increases. That is, the scholastic aptitude score increases, the grade also increases proportionately. So there is high positive correlation. Then this is the example of the negative correlation. As value of one variable increases, value of the other variable decreases in this case. Let me just hear from you what will be the type of relationship between hours of training in driving any vehicle and number of accidents. What will be the relationship you can think of will be there between the two? Positive means more the training, more the accidents.
Wrong. Inverse.
It will be the inverse relationship. So it will come out that it will be a negative correlation. More the training, more will be the less will be the number of accidents. Let me give another case. Grade point average and height of boys. What type of relationship will come here? Grades in the class and height. Very good. So there should not be any relationship between the two. My point is you will find high relationship, positive, negative, or there can be the situations where there are even no relationships. Let me now take another case, height and IQ of the individual. No relationship. Very good. So height and IQ, no relationship is there. Now, correlation and cause and effect. You just said that academic achievement, some said is related with the aptitude. Some said that the cultural program, cultural activities, that is related with this. Now, can I say one thing causes other? My question is, can I say one causes other? Say, can I equate the two things that if there is high relationship between the two, then one is causing the other to happen? I have shown you a number of examples, right? Can I say one thing is predicting, means is having the cause of the other thing? Yeah, from studio, I am having both the things, both the comments, yes and no. Okay, let me hear from the centers also. How would you say that if the two variables are related, there is high relationship, can I say that it is one is causing the other to happen? Are they cause and effect?
Hello.
And yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, any?
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am repeating. Can I say if two variables are related, can I say one is causing the other? Means there is cause and effect. A type of thing is there.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Are you hearing me, sir?
Can you hear me? I am from MIT Meerut. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir. I can hear you.
Ma'am, we
MIT.
can.
You're from
Yeah.
MIT.
Yes. Ma'am, we cannot say that is.
हाँ जी सर बताइएगा सर yes please.
Ma'am, we cannot conclude that the cause and relationship is there. Cause and
Yes,
effect
very good, very
relationship.
good. Why can't we conclude this thing?
I'm just taking your example about number of training hours and
Just 1
accidents.
minute, please. In the studio, please listen to him. Yes, please, sir.
The example that you took, number of training hours and the road accident, that was inversely related, but it can happen that on a particular national highway, the number of accidents are more even when the training was high because of the road was damaged.
But
So there will be different cause and effect.
But I have not said that there is a perfect relationship. Okay, but you have made a good point. I must appreciate it. Thank you. Let me give you one case. Just listen. I will ask any of the centers to conclude the things. A study was conducted and 0.65 correlation was found between infant mortality rate in the country and the money spent on road repairs. 0.65 correlation between infant mortality rate and money spent on the road repairs. Now, if you take it as cause and effect, how would you interpret it? And will that be the right interpretation? Just think on it. 0.65 is a quite high relationship. Yes, I go to Government Engineering College, Hassan. How would you interpret this relationship?
Madam, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Correlation, no?
Is anybody going to respond? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Positive correlation, madam.
It is positive correlation, quite high correlation. I am relating it. Can I call it as cause and effect? Infant mortality rate and the money spent on road repairs was found to be quite high.
Yeah.
So can one
It
is
is-
causing the other? Cause and effect is that one variable is causing the other variable to happen. Okay, let me move to the other, to the studio itself. Anybody who will like to respond to this question from studio?
Hello. Delivery के time पे I think when you're moving from your house.
Delivery नहीं, delivery से पहले की बात है ये. Infant mortality rate is after delivery. So, दीपिका किसी की आवाज आई थी किसी सेंटर से. Just see if anybody wants to respond to this. हाँ जी सर, मौलाना सर हम सुन रहे हैं. हाँ जी सर बताइए. हाँ जी.
If we consider that ambulance reach to the this infants, then the road serve the purpose. So
Okay.
if we spend money on roads and it is a quite good amount spent on the road, so the quality of road is good. So the medical service is approachable to the infant. So that's why this relationship is coming up.
Okay, so you can, if according to your point of view, I can say that this correlation is telling me cause and effect.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
Because of this, that is happening. Now, you see what happens in the relationships. Correlation cannot be equated with the causality. Just having two relationships high doesn't mean that one is causing the other to happen, right? Because there may be the third variable, which has nothing to do with the two variables, but still, because that third variable is affecting both, so the relationship you get, that becomes to be high. Now, say in this case, the reason may be extreme temperature of that area. Now, it's because of extreme temperature, there was high infant mortality rate. Because of extreme temperature fluctuations, there was the money was more spent on the road repairs. Or there may be the level of industrialization in that area. Now, because of level of a high industrialization, more pollution, causing infants not to cope up with that. And because of industrialization, more vehicles on the roads, right? That is causing damage to the. So absolutely some other variable is there which is causing both to happen. So causality, we say when one variable actually causes the change in B, but here in this case, it was just the sheer coincidence that A and B really having nothing to do with each other, but because of the third variable, they were having high correlation with each other. Point is, when you are conducting such type of studies, you should always keep in mind that this is not causing the other to happen. Actually, in the afternoon session, we will be having an experimental study. There really we go for cause and effect, where we control certain things and see this type of relationship study may tell you that, okay, there is two relationships are very high. I say IQ and academic achievement are having high relationship. Now, when I want to see the performance of the individuals and say the effect of teaching method, I have to control the IQ of the group. Because if the experimental group is with high IQ, and I say that it is the effect of method which is affecting the having, because of that they are having high academic achievement. But it's not the high academic achievement because of the new teaching method, but it is because the another variable, intelligence, is affecting. So what we do in such type of studies, we control this IQ of the groups who are subjected to any type of novel method or traditional method. So you have to be careful when interpreting the results. So under correlation studies, we will be having two types of studies. One are called relationship and the other are called the prediction type of studies. In the relationship studies, they are conducted to know the factors, variables, which are affecting the any complex variables. If I take academic achievement, now academic achievement, rightly pointed out by you, may be affected by the interest, aptitude, and I can add number of other variables. It may be the motivation of the individuals. It may be the attendance. It may be the learning style. So there can be number of other variables which may affect academic achievement of the students. So these studies serve these type of purposes. They give direction to the ex post facto. I will just make mention of this studies. Causal comparative studies are basically relationship studies, but they are somewhat related with the relationship studies, correlation studies, and to some extent they are related with the experimental studies. They are related to the experimental studies in the way both talk about the cause and effect, whereas in relationship I just mentioned they don't talk about the cause and effect. In experimental study we will talk about the cause and effect. In experimental study, we manipulate the cause and see the effect. Whereas in ex post facto or comparative studies, both the things, that is the cause and effect, both have already taken place. So we don't have any control on those things. I will show you a number of such studies wherein you can't control the causes of the things. In experimental, say you control temperature, you control pressure. I said you control IQ, but in causal comparative, you can't control it. Those things have happened. You just see what next can be done to avoid such type of wrong happenings. Now, these relationship studies just tell you which variables are to be controlled. Say, I said for academic achievement and IQ, they are related. So, for studying any effect on the academic achievement by way of method, ICT tools, anything, I will control those variables which are going to affect the academic achievement. You will be surprised to know that even teacher who is teaching may affect the achievement. There may be one teacher who is very good in explaining, very good in increasing interaction of the student. There may be the other teacher who just sits in the class and read his notes and go. So they may also affect the thing. So you have to see what these studies tell us what variables are to be controlled. Then steps, of course, they will remain same as we were discussing on the very first day. First is we are to select the problem, and as we said that we follow inductive deductive approach in conducting research study. So from whatsoever approach, you are to come to the point that if I am having one variable, I want to find the relationship. It may be my logic tells that these things are related. When I said, okay, how academic achievement is related with other things, you said aptitude, interest. Now, what was this? This was your logic only, right? So, by any way, right, maybe from review of study, maybe from your logics, maybe your observations, you feel that these two things will be related. When I said height and height and IQ, are they related? You immediately said they are not related. So point is, it may be coming from the earlier studies. It may be your logic. At the problem selection time, you find out which variables can be related. Then only we conduct the study, and based on that, we find the relationships. But in any case, there must be some reason for including variables. Just as you said that, okay, interest can affect. You may see learning style may affect. Study habit may affect. Right? In IQ will affect. There is some logic. But if I say height and academic achievement, is there any logic to relate these two things? If I want to take, yes, Gaurav, in the studio, he wants to comment on it.
जैसे हम बोल रहे हैं कि थोड़ा लॉजिक हमें फील होता है कोरिलेशन का,
हाँ,
that's why we go further, right?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
जैसे अभी जो एग्जांपल हमने लिया था कि रोड वाला और इन्फेंट का जो मर्टी रेट,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
अगर हम वैसे देखें तो कोई लॉजिक नहीं है इसमें.
Very good. Gaurav in this studio has said that the madam, you have just taken the example of mortality rate and the relationship with the road accidents. I will come to one more thing. There is shotgun approach, but I will come to that later. That example I took just to tell that relationship doesn't mean causation. To clarify those aspects, I took a hypothetical example of that. But parallel to that, you may take attendance and achievement. They were found to be highly related. Now, do you feel that seemed to be logical to you? Right? But is that the only thing? Because motivation might be behind the two things. I am motivated, that's why I am going to the class. I am motivated, that's why I am putting in more effort to get the good grades. But that may not be the, so attendance may not be the cause for the achievement. So point is, in real situations also, you will find certain areas where they look to be related, but actually they are not cause and effect. Our point is that they are not telling us the cause and effect. That is my aim.
But madam, अगर आप देखो अटेंडेंस में अगर बच्चा बैठेगा ही नहीं क्लास में, अगर उसकी अटेंडेंस 50% है,
very well said.
he is not sitting.
Very well said. Now I was knowing this thing will come कि अगर बैठेगा नहीं तो सुनेगा क्या. Now my next question is, attendance तो 75% सबके लिए होती है, but do everybody get good marks? So there is third factor, right? That third factor, motivation, makes him not only attend but be attentive also. So point is, we can discuss such many things. Point is, these things are giving you the clue that there is a relationship. There may not be cause and effect, and if you feel there are cause and effect, then you are to control that variable when you are conducting experimental study. The other is the shotgun approach, which generally should not be followed. Now this says, irrespective of everything, start relating the things. Now in the shotgun approach, we don't go to the logic. Take all the variables, find out the interrelationships among them, and then find what happens. But this should be avoided. Always there should be either review, basis of relationship should be either review, or this your own logics should be there to find out the relationship between the things. So this is how we go for problem selection. Then we select how you select the sample. I think tomorrow there is a full session on sampling. Broadly, there are, Dr. Tulsi might have also mentioned about it. There are probability, non-probability, and among probability, sampling is the best technique, and among them, a random sampling where everybody has equal probability to become part of that sample is the best one. But you will see there are certain constraints. We cannot always go for random sampling, though it is the best one, right? So you are to use appropriate technique for selecting sample. We say the sample should be large, and for statistical purposes, 30 subjects are generally considered to be minimally acceptable sample size. 30 plus ho jate hain, they come start, the inferential statistical techniques, which will be discussed later, we start using those techniques. But for small samples, techniques are different, and generalizability is also affected. Once we have selected the sample, then what the next thing to do from the steps? What next is to be done? You may find certain instruments which are available. You may have to construct of your own, right? It may be maybe you are to find pH value. pH meter is there. You may need spectrometer. You may need certain standardized tests, and maybe there are no tests available. You are to develop tests yourself. Point is, whatsoever test you are selecting, that must give you the valid and reliable measures of the variable. If they are not valid, right, You are making readings for the pH, but pH meter is not proper, is not giving you the accurate results. Your whole study will be fruitless, I would say, if your measuring instruments are not proper. I have seen many researchers who will construct their own questionnaire, don't validate them, and use them as such in their research study. So that's not going to give you the valid results. We will see how even the construction of questionnaires, if the items are not properly made, then they also are not going to give you the valid results. So when you are selecting instruments for performing any lab work, or you are taking your own test papers or anything, you have to look into the things that they are giving you the valid results. Any question which is coming, or otherwise response? Okay. Then you may have standardized tests. Some of you said aptitude. Now aptitude tests are standardized and they are available in the market. Say one of your variable is leadership skill. Standardized tests are available. So you will find number of standardized tests which are available in the market. If your variable happens to be that one, you can select from there only, and they are commercially available also. They do have copyrights, so you have to take care. Sometimes the developers of these tests, they allow for research purposes free of charge also, but you have to go through that thing also. So point is, if the instruments do not measuring what you intend to measure, then the relationship which is coming, that will be superfluous, will not have any meaning. So once we have done with this, we are of course going to collect data. Then data can be collected through administration of tests, questionnaire, interviews, whatsoever, or use of observation techniques. All these techniques we will be taking tomorrow, how we construct questionnaires, interviews, observation techniques, and how we construct them and how we use them. We will be taking tomorrow. Then you may have certain data which you can have from the records also. I just said that, okay, I want to have academic achievement relationship with other aspects. So for, say, I am taking with interest with aptitude. So I administer these tests and get the data. And there may be the academic achievement, I am saying the score of the students in the first semester in engineering college. So from where the data will come? It is available in the records and you can just take it from there. So it can come from these type of sources. After data collection, we are going for data analysis and interpretation of the scores. Scores for each variable. Now you have two pairs of scores, say score on aptitude test, score on the academic achievement. I find the correlation between the two. So this can be correlated. There are a number of methods for calculating the relationship between the two variables. Most commonly used and is effective also used by in engineering also, sciences also, and social sciences also, is the product movement correlation coefficient. But choice of correlation depends upon certain other things also. Scales of measurement, there are 4 scales: nominal scale, ordinal scale, ratio scale, interval scale. These will also be discussed. And the nature of the variable also. There may be dichotomous, two dichotomy may be there. Say you want to gender as one of the variable, then for that different type of correlation is used. If your data is in ranks, then different type of correlation exists. So just a summary of the relationships, I am just giving you. Product movement correlation, that is represented by R. So if both the variables are on interval or ratio scale, we go for it. Spearman's rank difference correlation, we use it when represented by row, and we use when the data is in ranks. And it is just up to 15 or 30, not more than this should be the sample. And if your score is on other variable, quantifiable scores are there, then also you can convert them into ranks and then finally use this Sperman rank difference correlation also. So point is, as you will see that as the variable 1 and variable 2, the scale changes, the nature of the correlation also changes. So that you have to look while applying the correlation technique. This was about the relationship studies. Under correlation, the other set of studies are the prediction studies. Now, prediction, as the name says, we conduct these studies whenever we want to predict certain thing. It may be weather, it may be agriculture product, yield, how much yield will be there. It may be whether your student will be successful in the engineering college. It may be whether the student will be successful in the industry once he is recruited. So predictions are there. You look into when I was asking about the joint entrance test. Now, why we are conducting joint entrance tests? Because on the basis of those scores, we feel that students should be performing better in the engineering college, maybe IIT, maybe any engineering college. Now, say you have made the recruitment based on the joint entrance test, and those whom you have selected, they are not performing good. What does this indicate? It means the prediction was wrong, right? Say industry comes to your institution for the campus interviews. I think there are a number of parameters for recruiting students through the campus interviews. So let me just tell me what are different processes through which your students are passed for recruiting them in any industry. Again, I will like to go to the various centers. Soma Saria Engineering College, Seeker. Connected nahi hai. Okay. Then RV College of Engineering, Bangalore. I think campus interviews must be taking place, campus placements must be taking place in your institution. Am I right? They are not able to hear me? Sir, are you able to hear me? Engineering College, Mulana. Anji sir, have you heard me? Question is clear? Yes, sir. I suppose campus interviews are being taken place at your institution. Campus placements hoti hai na?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Through which process your students pass when the companies come to your institution?
Ma'am, there are two criteria. First, their performance in the up to 7th semester.
Sorry, I could not get you. First, they have to.
There are two criteria for
Yes.
student to be selected.
Yes.
One is minimum required CGPA in 7th semester.
Okay. CG one.
CGPA in 7th semester.
CGPA.
Second one, written test of the company.
Okay, written test.
Written test. And
Okay.
after that, they are selected for interview.
Okay.
And interview will be taken.
Okay.
And then final list will be displayed.
And after interview?
After interview, group discussion, madam.
Group discussion is also there. So if I am correct, CGPA becomes your cutoff point. That okay, only above 60% will be selected, right?
Yes.
Why they are going for all these things? Once you have made the cutoff, let it be only one thing, written test, and that's it. Why so many things are added for recruiting students?
Madam, this is basically, I think, the funneling process to get the best for their company.
Get the best out of that. Now, they are finding certain things among students through all these things, so that they perform better in the industry, right? HR people are questioned if they do not recruit proper type of students for the industry. Now, each of them is having effect on their performance in the industry. As we were saying that JEE test, say architecture persons are saying that there is component of aptitude for the architecture field. That component is also there in the entrance test. Now, in all these types of testing, where we are having these types of tests, we are having these variables, that is the performance in this written test, interview test, and group discussion, they are actually the predictors for their performance in the industry. When we are saying JE test and the aptitude test, then the performance on these two, they are predicting the success of the individual in the engineering college. So entrance test scores can be used to predict scores in the engineering college. If there is no relationship, then why going through all these things? If these things are not related, then why go for these things? So even that's how I was saying that, say, humidity means today's temperature. So number of things as they are today, they from based on that they forecast the weather. So those things predict the weather also. Likewise, you make certain combination of the things to find the efficiency. You see that, okay, if this thing is up to this level, this level, this level, then they are going to give us the maximum efficiency for that system. So such aspects become the predictor variables, and the effect on which we are going to gauge, that is the criterion variable. So the variable entrance test score, maybe in case of campus interviews, written test, interviews, and the performance in the group discussion, they are the predictor variables, and the score in engineering college or performance in the industry, they then become the dependent variable variable for them. So we conduct prediction studies also. So the purpose for such type of studies is that facilitate decision making in selection of individuals. Right in the beginning, when in my very second slide, when I asked, some among you said that, okay, we make such type of thing to make prediction, to take decisions about the recruitment of right type of people for the industry, or admission of right type of students in the institution. And when I'm making, I am taking predictions for the future, for maybe snowfall, whether there will be snowfall, whether there will be heavy rain. Those are guiding other people to take certain decisions. Farmers have to take certain decisions. You have to fix up certain things. That all again depends upon the certain weather conditions. So whenever you are performing, wherever decision making is very important, right, we go for such type of prediction studies. Then if there are number of predictor variables that correlate with the criterion, then prediction is based on combination of those. Just see, when you said for the performance in the industry, written test, you said interview, then you said the group discussion. Now, these three variables are collectively affecting the performance of the industry in the performance of the individual in the industry. Do they have equal contribution? No, very right. When they are not having equal contribution, there are ways to find what percentage weightage be given to each of these three. If you are, say, having joint entrance test and the other aptitude test for getting admission, then again this weightage will differ. How much weightage to be given to the aptitude component, and how much weightage to be given to the capability of the student in that subject. So these things, again, we have the inferential statistics is there. We go for multiple regression equations. They tell us how much percentage weightage. Likewise, for prediction of weather, if there are 3-4 things, they will be contributing in different percentage for the success on for the prediction on the criterion variable. So they also help us determine the predictive validity of the measuring instruments. That also, wherever there are standardized tests are there. Say if you take a scholastic aptitude test, that is standardized test. There are differential aptitude tests for space relations, abstract reasoning, like that. So there also we go for finding the validity of the things. Such studies are used for predictive this. But I would say, by and large, if I look into science and engineering, you may not be having that purpose in view. Then we come to these steps. as I said earlier, steps will remain the same. So first step is again, first step will always remain same for any type of study. It may be experimental, maybe survey, maybe correlation. So first step will be sampling. I don't know the problem. First, I should know what I have to do. Then I will think of the sample, right? So first step is the problem selection, right? That's why we were saying it's logical in order. If you remember ninth day, the lecture of first day, we said that research is systematic, follows certain steps in logical order. So first step will remain always problem selection. So you are to think of what will be your predictor variables and what will be the criterion variable. So if my say joint entrance test and aptitude test, they may become my predictor variables. Success in the engineering college becomes the criterion variable. I take this example and solve these things. So criterion variable should be defined properly. When I say success in the engineering college, or I say success in the industry, how can I measure these two things? Yes, anybody who will share with me, if say I take the case of engineering college, I don't take the case of industry, that may become a bit complicated. When on the basis of certain joint entrance test and say the aptitude test, I want to find the effect on the criterion variable. Now my criterion variable is success in the engineering college. How can I measure success of the student in the engineering college? I have to define it. So how would you define it? Yes, let me for this purpose invite MIT Jammu. Yes, madam, how can I measure this variable?
Cut-off marks?
Marks in which there are first semester
Yes.
marks, there are second semester marks, there are final marks of the semester. Which marks I should use? You have made a very good effort. Let me. Yes.
Overall marks, no? Overall marks.
Now,
That is.
very good, very good. Now, this is the decision of the researcher. This is the decision of the researcher that okay, I may say that okay, I will see the performance only in the engineering subjects, not the other one. I may take the decision that okay, I will get the success from the final semester examination, from the overall CGPA of the institution. Point is, this criterion variable has to be defined properly. If you are taking success in the industry, it may be the ranking given by the supervisor or the next manager. So point is, you are to define this criterion variable properly when you are going for the prediction studies. The now comes sir sample. So sample is subjects are selected from whom the desired data can be collected and who are available to the researcher. Sometimes we become very ambitious. Yeah? We are not able to collect information regarding say the joint entrance test. I say I may further split joint entrance test marks. I say how the performance in physics only is affecting the final score. But if I see actually I am not able to get the scores of the physics component of JEE, then I have to see that whether I should take that as the variable or I have to change them then take variable. So from whom we can collect the data, we take only those students as our subjects. You may have the data is in the industry, sorry, data is in the universities, you are not able to take. So you say you can take only data from 2 institutions for these 2 types of scores. Then you have to select sample from that. You have to take care that from the students from whom you can have the data, those only will be selected. Then again the same step, selecting and developing measuring instruments. So again, like relationship studies, we can have standardized tests, we can have questionnaires, interviews or observations. Same types of tests are there. Data collection again, the things by and large remain same. Only thing is, in relationship studies, data is collected for one point of time, right? But in the prediction, the point of happening of the things will differ. Say entrance test, after that you have to wait for that. For 3 years or 4 years, whatsoever is your criteria, maybe for one semester to get that data. Once it is done, then we are to analyze the data. As I said, that if there are number of variables helping us to predict something, then we have multiple regression equation is used. And I am not going into details of this, because that will be, some of these things might be taken in the inferential statistics session. So the regression equations, they are formulated so that each number of sub variables, how they are affecting, we can find that percentage component. Generally, correlation between up to 0.20 is taken as very low, 0.20 to 0.4 just low, 0.40 to 0.60 moderate, and then of course high, moderate, and at the end we take it as very high. So this was all about the correlation studies. And now just few minutes for the ex post facto studies. As the by and large steps remains the same, I will just tell the meaning and meaning of how these studies are, what these studies are, and some examples of it, so that you can just appreciate that these studies are different from the experimental studies, which we are going to discuss in the afternoon sessions. Concept, as the, if we go to the dictionary meaning of it, this means the study when the things have already taken place, right? If it is a Latin word, and meaning is from a thing done afterward. So in this type of research, investigator attempts to determine the cause or consequences of the differences that already exist between or among groups or individuals. The differences are there, effect and cause. You can say both have already taken place, and now you are going back to see the reasons why that thing happened. Can you give me any example of it? Let me hear from you first. Any example for such type of thing that cause, effect, both have taken place. And now I want to study what caused that effect. Effect is in front of me, right? I don't have any control on causes. So in this type of study, cause is not manipulated. The basic difference between experimental and cause and this ex post facto is, there you are, in experimental you are manipulating cause, here it's not in your hands. There are certain reasons for it. It's maybe ethically wrong to produce that cause. But just think of anything that really this thing can be there, that cause and effect both have taken place, then why to study it? Anybody from any center, let me make it open. Deepika, just if any center comes up, just connect to that center.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm from MIT Meerut.
Hanji sir, yes please.
The case can be some training has been provided to the workers in an industry and their productivity has increased. So the cause is also there, the training has been provided and their productivity, that is the effect that has increased.
Very good, very good. So cause has already taken, training already given, productivity increased. So only thing is you will find that productivity increased. So there may be number of other reasons also. You may find that training is really one among them or not. But the things have taken place. Okay, very good. Any other trial from any other center? Any other trial from any other center?
मैम जैसे भी ब्रिज कोलैप्स हुआ था लास्ट ईयर, तो मैम उसका हम देख सकते हैं, तो दैट इज एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टर रिसर्च.
Very good, very good. Isha. Okay, Priyanka, very good answer. जैसे ब्रिज कोलैप्स हुआ, what can be the possible reasons for that? Effect has taken, cause has taken, right? You study it retrospectively to see why that happened. Very good attempt. So Priyanka in our center, she has given the very good example. So ex post factor research, which is also referred as causal comparative research, this identifies causative relationship between independent and the dependent variables. Let me take another example also. Now, ex post facto study could be conducted to determine why one town in the particular locality has a higher incidence of cancer than its neighboring towns. Cancer is there, effect is already there, right? There must be certain causes, and now the researcher is going for why this thing happened. Now, in this case, you see, can we conduct experimental study? No. Is it possible that you first make them have become cancer patient and then you find the reason? It's just not possible. So there are situations, and rightly said by Isha also, that can you make first build up the bridge, means collapse it and then see the reasons? You just can't do it. Say earthquake comes, tsunami comes, can you bring it artificially and then see the things? Just not possible. So point is, there are number of situations where you just can't go for producing that effect and then studying the causes, or producing those causes and see the effect. So if this in the investigation, he found that majority of the homes in the town have wood burning stoves and fireplaces. Then if such type of, because before going to thinking of certain causes, the researcher has to make certain survey why it might have happened. मतलब वो causes जो हैं, he is building up those causes that it can happen because of this thing, because of this thing, because of this thing. So wood burning stoves and fireplaces, so he thought this can be one of the hypotheses that the smoke might be the reason for having more number of cancer patients. Now, if that is the cause, if I want to reach at the final this decision, I may have to find other aspects also where maybe these type of fireplaces are there, but still there are no cancer patients. So point is, that way the steps for conducting the research, steps for collecting that type of information, steps for measuring instruments, those will change accordingly. By identifying possible causes retrospectively, the expert adopts an expert research for this type of thing, thus examining retrospectively everything and making correlational links between the two. Let me have one. There are certain characteristics of this. Data are collected after the presumed causes have occurred. Effect has also occurred. So it does not permit any manipulative control on the independent variables as we can do in the experimental. Researcher takes the effect or dependent variable and examines those things retrospectively. Say family violence causing poor academic performance. Can I go for experimental study? Can I induce family violence in certain homes and then see how the achievement is affected? I just can't do it. Ethically, it is wrong that I go for such type of thing. Ethically, we can't expose students to family violence. So put students in two groups, with one group who have experienced family violence and others domestic circumstances are acceptable. Then you see what can be the causes for it. Likewise, I show another example. Research on cigarette smoking and lung cancer. You just can't ask people to smoke and let us see the effect on the lungs. You just can't do it. So in such situations, you have to go retrospectively. Again, it cannot be tested so experimentally. There has been a dramatic increase in number of fatal road accidents in a particular locality. Again, you can't have more accidents there and then see the causes. My point is that there are number of such situations where you can't go for cause and effect. maybe ethically wrong, maybe it's not possible to create that type of situation and bear that type of losses. So there we have to go for extrastructural research. And this research, to some extent, it resembles with the experimental study, where we manipulate the causes and see the effect. And some extent, it relates with the correlation. We find the relationships with the